Hey guys, this is Matt Wenning at winningstrength.com. And today's video is about Andrew Locke. Andrew Locke unfortunately passed away yesterday due to brain cancer that spread. He had a tumor many months ago and it came back with a vengeance and took him out. So before we get into Andrew Locke's background and all that and talking about the stuff that I learned from him, please like and subscribe and comment on anything you may have learned from Andrew Locke in the comments, or talk about anything you may have picked up on the internet from him, etc. That'd be awesome. Thanks. Something I always held in high regard of Andrew Locke, similar with a lot of the other people I look up to, is that he was just brutally strong as well as smart. With a 500-pound bench as a master's athlete and a great background in all kinds of different sports, Andrew Locke was considered a very, very good specimen physically as a younger adult. And then working his way up through school to get his doctorate in physiotherapy is just a huge accomplishment. I think that we far too often miss people in our fields that are not only physically apt, but also educationally apt. It's always been my big drive, and I knew Andrew Locke's passion for teaching others and also using this information to help himself become better was a large factor in knowing so much about shoulder and lower back issues. We find today that people that have PhDs or doctorate degrees tend to not have any physicality, and we find that people that are physical tend to not push their education. It's very, very seldom that we find somebody that's right in the middle and has both. And so meeting Andrew Locke 2 to 3 years ago was a huge drive in me continuing my education as well, and I'm sure it was for other people. Some of the things that Andrew Locke and I agreed on was 2-to-1 back to front ratio. So if we do 2,500 pounds of pressing, we need to do 5,000 pounds of back work. That was one thing we agreed on 100%. The next thing we agreed on is how important the small muscles are in the shoulder, the supra, the infraspinatus, and the joint capsule in itself is a very tricky situation once you start accumulating mileage or injuries. So the best way to not accumulate these problems is to have a rotational system of exercises that allows these areas to play catch up with the larger muscles around them, like the pec major, the pec minor, the lat, and the trap, which oftentimes can change the position of the scapula, causing issues with those small muscles in the shoulder. So having a strong back, if you want to be a great presser, whether it be log presses in strongman or bench presses in powerlifting, you need to have all of those muscles doing their due diligence while you're training and having focus. For a lot of general gym goers and for a lot of normal people in the gym, it's the small muscles that knock us out of competition or stop us from doing the exercises that we love. And Dr. Locke was awesome about making sure that we were not avoiding those particular areas. I think the mark of a great person, a great coach, a great leader, and a great doctor is constantly learning from other people. When I was around Andrew Locke, I learned as much or more from him as he learned from me. And we were not egotistical and trying to prove that one of us was smarter than the other. We both just tried to absorb what we were trying to teach. I find that's missing today a lot in social media. And you can see it in Andrew Locke's page, you can see it in my page. But a lot of the big things is we got to stop fighting over some of the small shit. You can have a disagreement with somebody. You can do it in a respectful way. You don't have to be upset about it. And I always thought that Andrew Locke, I looked up to him a lot for being so patient with people when they would argue with him, or they would tell him, he's dumb online, or they would do memes about him and do stuff like that. I'm not that kind of person. And a lot of times I just don't want to hear about it or see it. He was very good at confronting it and doing it in a positive way, some of which I hope to gain in the near future. If he's looking down, please, God help. But the point is if there's some things that you want to learn from him, we have the shoulder download on my website. I know Dr. Ken has a lot of his talks recorded from Swiss where we first met, hit it off, and became good friends. And there's a lot of other podcasts that he's on, and I think that you'll agree his talking and his mechanics of how he explains information is probably second to none. I haven't seen too many people really slow everything down, take everything into account, and really explain what he's trying to do. And for that, I'm truly grateful to watch the old videos that not only we did together, but in other things to learn about how to speak better in large groups and in clients and in, seminars and symposiums. In my opinion, he's one of the greatest public speakers that I've ever seen. It sucks to lose another friend in this game. And I think we just need to be a little bit more kind to each other, and we need to stop having so much ego. And I'm just as much to blame as anybody else. And I remember not even maybe a month or two ago calling Locke and just fucking bitching and complaining about how bad social media is right now and how I can't stand it and all this other stuff. And what I don't realize that Locke really sat down and told me was that for the 100 people that piss you off and don't do what you tell them, there's 5 or 10 that are listening and trying. And so focusing on the people that bring positives is a massive thing these days, because everybody wants cancel culture. Everybody wants negative energy. It's no way to live. I think it's starting to drive a lot of people away from social media. So I hope that one thing we can learn from Andrew Locke, above and beyond the spinal mechanics and the shoulder mechanics and the rehab properties, is just being a really good person. One of the best people I've ever met. I'm going to miss him terribly. I'm going to miss talking to him at least every month. We were planning on doing a seminar together again at Gunnar Peterson's in August, which I think we're still going to hold that seminar with Don Saladino, Gunnar Peterson, myself, and others, and use it as like a dedication to Andrew Locke, and hopefully do something like that on an annual basis. So stay tuned on that. And I really hope that the people that got a lot of information from him, we truly lost a really good person. So this is Matt Wenning at WenningStrength.com, and I'll talk to you guys later.
Places every year they give to students who have a disadvantage. I looked at it, and I came from, unfortunately, the wealthiest suburb in the state, so I'm not disadvantaged, but my friend actually lived in the poorest suburb. Okay, so I'm going to get my